Breaking news. We have recently received reports that at approximately 11:13 p.m. on Saturday night, Allison Anderson was murdered by an unidentified person. Police officers and other eyewitness testimonies have helped narrow down the suspects to two. 911 has been informed after 2 gunshots were heard that Mrs. Anderson was shot and killed when she was pulling into her driveway after a Taylor Swift concert that night. She was the only passenger in the 1963 Corvette. One of the eyewitnesses said that they thought it was a man that looked a lot like her husband, William Anderson. But as far as they knew, he was out on a work trip until Monday morning. Allison had previous suspicion of William having an affair with someone else in the past, so police brought William for questioning when he returned home on Monday. The second eyewitness said that it looked a lot like her sister, Lindsay Smith. Lindsay is a hairstylist at a local salon. She is 32 years old, single, and is around the Anderson household quite often. She was suspected to be wearing a purple hoodie during this time, and she is being brought in for questioning on Sunday morning. Forensic investigators have pieced together and collected some very valuable and important pieces of evidence. Evidence number 1 was hair from a woman, only it didn't match the hair of Allison after the autopsy was done on the body. The hair was collected and sent to the lab for DNA analysis. When the DNA came back, it was an exact match to Lindsay, the sister. Evidence 2, however, was a 9mm handgun that was used to murder Allison Anderson. The gun is registered in William's name, but there were no fingerprints or clues to either of the suspects. He never goes anywhere without his gun, so investigators found this odd. The third piece of evidence was the blood pool found next to and under the body of Mrs. Anderson. This blood was collected and analyzed as O negative and was an exact match to Allison. Evidence number 4 was the corpse of Allison. After being analyzed during the autopsy, her body had been shot 2 clear times. The first suspected shot fired was directly into the shoulder. The shoulder had been completely shattered and the bullet was still stuck there. The second suspected shot was to the heart. The bullet pierced through the heart and was stuck to the skin on her back. Evidence 5 was the crashed car up against the Anderson household's landscaping to the left of the driveway. After looking at the car, the registration and insurance had been shown to be Allison's 1963 Corvette. The driver's side window was reported to be smashed from a bullet that came directly through the car. Evidence 6 was just more of Allison's blood found in the car. This piece of evidence, along with the smashed car window, led investigators to believe she was shot in her left shoulder while she was pulling into her driveway. The final piece of evidence was the fiber on the ground next to Allison's body. The purple fiber was collected and sent to the lab. The fiber matched the exact purple hoodie that Lindsay was wearing that night of her sister's murder. After meeting with both William and Lindsay and all of the evidence collected, investigators cracked the case. They discovered that William was having an affair and wanted his wife dead due to past history between the two. However, he wasn't the murderer. Lindsay wanted her sister dead as well. She was having an affair with her husband and wanted to make sure that Allison would never be in the way of William and Lindsay's love. William had gone on a work trip for the weekend while Allison went to the Taylor Swift concert. However, Lindsay took William's gun to murder Allison. Lindsay connected on the first shot directly through the car window and went up Allison's left shoulder, shattering it. Allison being shot in the shoulder caused her to crash into her landscaping rocks. Allison then tried to get out and get the gun away from Lindsay, but she couldn't make it in time. Allison was shot in the heart and fell over on her front side near the car. Lindsay then dropped the gun and ran, hoping to never be seen. Both William and Lindsay had conspired the murder together in hopes to live happily ever after. They will now be serving 35 years in prison with no chance of parole.